I am Robin Allen, 70 years old, an African-American man who has lived long enough to learn that time changes everything except human nature. I have seen the rise of fortunes, the fall of families, and the weight of choices that echo through generations. I was born in a small wooden house in Georgia, with nothing but determination and my mother's words carved into my memory. Don't let the world tell you what you can't be. Those words became my armor. I started small, washing cars, sweeping warehouses, running errands for men who didn't even remember my name. But I remembered theirs, and more importantly, I remembered how they worked. Every insult became a lesson. Every locked door became a challenge. Slowly, I built a business, one truck at a time, one deal at a time, until my name, Robin Allen, stood over a company worth millions. I gave my daughter, Grace, everything I never had. A fine home, the best schools, a car when she turned 18, and a wedding that could have made angels jealous. When her husband Eric entered our lives, I accepted him like a son. He was ambitious, sharp-tongued, and smooth, the kind of man who smiles with his lips but not with his eyes. Still, I trusted him because my daughter loved him. Years went by, and I retired quietly. I handed over daily operations to my old manager, Mr. Dawson, a man who had stood beside me since my first loan, loyal as a brother. I kept ownership, but faded into the background. I thought I had earned peace, but peace is fragile when greed whispers. It was a quiet Sunday morning when betrayal knocked at my door, though it came not as a stranger but through the voices I loved most. I made breakfast, poured coffee, and waited. Grace and Eric walked into the living room, but something about their faces felt different. "Dad," Grace said, avoiding my eyes, "we think you should move into an old home. You're 70 now. You need care." For a moment I thought she was joking. "An old home?" I asked. "You're saying I can't stay in my house? The house I built?" Eric leaned forward, his smirk as sharp as a blade. "You've done enough, sir. You should rest. We'll handle things from here. It's time to let go." The room went silent. I looked at my daughter, hoping for even a flicker of guilt. But her eyes stayed low, and her silence screamed louder than any insult could. I stood up slowly, holding my cane, feeling decades of strength tremble beneath me. "You think rest means exile?" I said quietly. "You'll learn one day that peace isn't found by throwing others away." I walked out that morning with a small leather bag, a few clothes, and no bitterness, just a deep, echoing sadness. The gate closed behind me with the same sound my heart made when I realized love can die long before a person does. I rented a small apartment on the edge of town. Simple, quiet. I cooked for myself, read old books, and walked in the evenings. The world didn't stop. It never does. But I did notice something. My company was still thriving, still running exactly how I built it, because Mr. Dawson was still there, guarding it like it was his own soul. Weeks later, fate decided to move its hand. Eric, trying to rise higher in his career, had joined the same company, my company. He didn't know that every report he sent, every deal he made, still flowed through a system that had my name stamped deep in its roots. One afternoon, he walked into the office of Mr. Dawson, his superior now, all confidence and arrogance. He didn't know that the man behind the desk was not just his boss, but the keeper of my legacy. Mr. Dawson leaned back in his chair and asked, "Eric, tell me something. Is it true what I heard? That you threw Robin Allen out of your home?" Eric chuckled. "That old man? Yeah. He's living somewhere on his own now. Couldn't take care of himself." "Why?" The room froze. Mr. Dawson's voice dropped an octave. "That old man built this place, this company, these walls, even the chair you're sitting on. They exist because of him. You've been working for his empire." The words hit him like a thunderclap. The color drained from his face. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the man whose signature is still on every founding document," Dawson said, standing. "Robin Allen is the owner, and you, my boy, are nothing but a tenant in the house he built." By the next morning, the story had spread across the company. Whispers turned into stares. Eric couldn't walk a hallway without feeling the weight of his own shame. Even Grace heard, and that was the moment her pride shattered. That evening I heard a soft knock on my door. I opened it to find my daughter, eyes red and swollen, Eric standing behind her like a broken shadow. "Dad," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't know. Please forgive us." I studied her face, the same face that once smiled in my arms as a baby. Years of pain and love collided inside me. I could have slammed the door. I could have let them feel the weight of what they did, but I didn't. Instead, I stepped aside. "Come in," I said softly. Grace fell to her knees, crying against my hand. Eric stood there, unable to meet my eyes. "I was blind," she whispered. "I thought you were a burden, but you were our foundation." I sat beside her. "Sometimes," I said quietly, "life teaches us the value of what we lose, only when we've lost it. But forgiveness—" I paused. "Forgiveness teaches us how to rebuild." They stayed that night. We talked. For hours, about childhood memories, about mistakes, about the emptiness of pride. I didn't scold. I didn't preach. I simply told them the truth. "You forgot who I was, but I never forgot who you were." And something changed in them that night. From that day forward, they came back, not to take, but to give. Grace began volunteering at community centers, helping the elderly. Eric worked under Dawson, humbly learning how to lead with respect instead of ego. We rebuilt our bond piece by piece. Dinners became laughter again. My small apartment soon filled with the sounds of family, of second chances, of healing. And, as I sat there one evening, watching them set the table, I realized something profound. Revenge had tried to whisper to me once, but forgiveness had spoken louder. Because revenge ends a story. Forgiveness rewrites it. Now when people ask me who I am, I say this: I am Robin Allen. A man once betrayed, now blessed. A man who learned that wealth can be lost, but love, if given another chance, can be reborn. And every time I see my daughter smile again, I know the truth. That the greatest victory isn't destroying those who wronged you. It's watching them rise beside you, better than before, because you chose mercy over anger. That, my friend, is the richest legacy I could ever leave behind.